and just ask who's been kind of a hero for you in your life?
Okay, the hero in my life, no question about it, is a guy by the name of Jerry Garcia. Uh, may he rest in peace. Who was a lead guitar player for a band back in the 60s and 70s and 80s called the Grateful Dead. Garcia stands out because he was a person that was way ahead of his time, not only in music, but more, from my perspective, from a business point of view. Okay, I mean, he literally did things that were unheard of in the days, and of course, that reeks of audaciousness to me, and therefore stands out and is something that I really like. I mean, hell, in the days where people were worrying about copyright, Garcia and the Grateful Dead built a stand, especially for their fans to come in and record their music. I mean, people thought he was crazy because in those days, people thought you had to protect things to create value. And he rightly concluded that no, you have to share things to create value. And of course, this is way before the world of social media, etc. And he was a guy that was so fan-centric, he would never give special deals to anybody else but his fans, unlike today's business world, where in order to attract people from another competitor, you give away things, right? Like, come to me and I'll give you a free TV. It doesn't make any sense at all, and it's intellectually dishonest to do that to your existing fan base. So Garcia stands out, and there's been books written about the Grateful Dead in terms of their marketing prowess and business sense. And he's just, even though I never met him, I've read about him, I've learned about him, and he's informed me. And more to the point, he's actually supported me because I happen to be that kind of a person, and I never knew that he was. And so he was really helpful in a way that will never know, in terms of sort of pushing me and giving me confidence that my whole be different or be dead journey was the right thing to be on,
So for everyone out there right now, we had a little snafu with the recording. So you wrote down a couple of things that we were talking about previously. What were those terms?
Well, one term was strategic meandering, because you asked me about my career, and I said, well, the reality is I didn't know what I wanted to do. First of all, I wanted to be a dentist at probably grade 3, which was crazy. I don't know why. Then I wanted to be a pilot, had an inner ear problem, so that was out of it. So I just went through high school, got into university, took mathematics and computer science. Don't know why, but I liked math. But I never had an end game in terms of a career. And so when I started working in the business world, I guess I started to learn way more than I ever learned at school, way more. Okay, and I've written a lot about the way I look at that is education is important, but at some point in your career, you got to put the textbook down. You got to learn new things, and that's where I come in, because I'm the new things teacher guide, because I learned a lot of stuff that was never taught to me in school. And so as I worked around, eventually leading to a president of a data company that I took to $1 billion in annual sales, I literally meandered through the organization strategically, looking for opportunities to extend myself, to take risks that catered not necessarily to my strengths, but to my learning points. I mean, I knew what my learning points or my strengths are. But for me to grow and develop, I had to develop things that I weren't necessarily good at. And so in a way, that was the strategic piece that I went through. The other one I wrote down was the heart implies action, not the mind. And so the reason that I said that was we were talking about, what moves people. And my experience is the intellect kind of like satisfies the left side of the brain, but it really doesn't do anything. The thing that satisfies action is the right side of the brain, and the heart and the passion and emotion comes from that side. And that's where the results are. My experience, we didn't get to $1 billion by thinking our way there. We got to $1 billion by having generally what I would call a let's head west strategy, which people thought I was crazy, and we executed it. Unbelievably, we executed it. And that's how we got there. So, I've written a book called Execute First, Plan Second. And the notion around that is spend 20% of your time on the plan and 80% on how you're going to execute it. And if you do that well, you will beat anybody out there with this pristine plan that satisfies the academics and the pundits, but you can't execute it. So it's absolutely worthless.
Yeah.
Doing it, my friend, is 10 times better than talking about it, pondering over it, pontificating over it. You got to do something eventually.
Yep. I agree. If you can meet anybody alive on the planet right now and spend some time with them, who would it be?
Hmm. Um, well, I'd love to sit down with Lady Gaga, to tell you the truth,
Yeah.
because she is crazy.
Yeah.
She is amazing. In fact, I struggled between, Jerry Garcia and Lady Gaga. And I hit you with Garcia. I'm glad you asked the question in that order, because now I can go to a really live person. She, again, like, she is the things that I love about her is, first of all, she does not believe in tradition. Okay, and it's not because she doesn't respect it. It's because she's figured out that she needs more than that. Okay, to do what? Not just to satisfy her own goals, but to satisfy her fans. Okay, so she is probably one of the most fan-centric live people that I know out there. And I'd love to sit down with her and have a conversation about, what moves her to do things differently. How did she come up with this incredible, I'd call it demand pull from her fans that nobody else has? And you know what? She's controversial, big deal. I mean, there's nothing worse than somebody who's benign, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, they're not raising any conflict and controversy, but nobody's talking about them either, and nobody's paying attention to them, and they have no influence. And so she has influence by virtue of her persona, and I love her for that.
So for someone like Lady Gaga, they obviously have a lot of motivation, a lot of spark in what they do. What's that for you? What's your motivation to do what you do every day and to accomplish what you want to get done?
Yeah, so I literally have this notion of be different or be dead running through my veins. Okay, I always have, right? I've always been a guy that's tried to be audacious, and it's got me into trouble in terms of stepping out as opposed to fitting in. And I've never been somebody that, and so I just have that. All right. And one of the things I say to people, if you want to go down the journey, you have to be more than just committed. You have to have this stuff in your DNA. Okay, because it's not an intellectual exercise. It's an emotional journey, right? And so what I do, and I've taught myself to do this literally, when I'm faced with a challenge or something new, I have what I call my be different or be dead lens. I always ask myself the question, and it's a bit of a regimen for me. How am I going to do this differently? What does it imply here? Okay, in order to do things in a way that nobody else does. And I've created this concept called the only statement. In today's world of what I call claptrap competitive advantage claims and differentiation claims, like, we're better, we're best, we're number one, we're the market leader, all these nonsensical expressions that mean nothing to anybody, because I'd like to know who's saying them. I've had to create something, and I did this in my business life, called the only statement. It says, instead of that, we need to be really clear on giving people reasons for buying from us. And so I came up with the only statement. And it's really simple. It says, we are the only ones who, we're not the best. We're not, the better, we're not superior. We are the only people that basically do what we do. And that formed the basis of our approach to differentiation and my approach to life. It's trying to figure out how I can be the only one who does something that people care about. And I have to tell you, we're woefully inadequate today in terms of being able to do that. I mean, hell, customers look out there at this massive businesses, and they have to make a choice, and they're all uttering the same claptrap. Come with me because we provide the best customer service. Well, what the hell does that mean? Come with us because we provide the best products and services. No, you don't. They're all the same,
Yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. The only statement gets the kids off the street, and it's really clear. You can see whether it exists or not. It's binary, right? And you can prove it. And so I've used that, and I use it with clients, and it really makes a difference. It really makes a difference. and it fights off academia is what it does, because nobody else talks about that. I'm the only one that talks about the only statement. Right. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
So,
awesome.
so of all these things that you've done in your life, what are you the proudest of?
Well, I don't know. I think I'm proud of the fact that you just gave me goosebumps, by the way. I'm proud of the fact that I stuck with what I learned very early on was likely to be what made me special. Okay, and I stuck with it, irrespective of hell, of pain and agony that one goes through when you're trying to push something and promulgate something that is completely different than what other people think about or what they're likely to think about. So I'm happy that I was able to withstand all of that. Because I came out from out of corporate, so there was people there basically that would have done anything to shut me down, and I withstood that. Um, I withstood kind of like the personal setbacks that everybody has. There's no such thing as a silver bullet in anybody's career. You have to be prepared to take it. And so I'm proud of the fact that I had the energy, and I still have the energy to keep pushing this, having conversations with guys like you about why this is important, taking the challenges, accepting them, and fighting back with practical things people can do to better themselves. Like, I don't refer to textbooks. I don't refer to theories. I don't refer to algorithms. Hell, you can't build a business around an algorithm, notwithstanding what the AI pundits say. You can't do it. You just can't do it, because eventually you're person to person with humans. And by the way, don't humans still buy? Well, I guess bots do in a little way, but quite frankly, I guess I just kind of like to break things down into basic stuff. And I'm glad I've been able to do that. I'm proud of that.
Yeah, for sure. So if you have a dream tonight, you run into the 20-year-old version of yourself. You could give that young version of you a piece of advice based on the wisdom you've gained in your life. What would you tell that young version of you?
Take your foot off the gas pedal just a wee bit. I would say, you know what? You're gonna get to where you need to get to. You just need to pull it back just a little bit. Um, Try and not be so driving all the time, because it's not good for you personally. It's not good for your health. It's not good for people around you. Sometimes you just need to pull it back a wee bit, Roy.
So
Great
every
question.
Yeah, so everyone out there has a perception of you. You got family, friends, clients, colleagues, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Yeah, I think I run the show. I do. I've yet to be proven really ridiculously wrong in the notions that I've come up with, and I know that sounds egotistical, and I suppose it is. But you know what? I don't suffer fools very well, and when I say that, what I mean is or people that position themselves right to other innocents as saviors based on what they've learned, not based on what they've done. And I do not suffer that very well, because it's intellectually dishonest. You're affecting people's lives when you do that, okay? And you're giving them hopes that will be dashed. I mean, look at how many entrepreneurs die every 5 years. Their businesses disappear. Why? I can tell you why. There's some simple things that I learned about entrepreneurialism that would really at least increase chances of survival. And yet, I got to tell you, I talked to entrepreneur CEOs, startup CEOs, and what they do is they actually repeat what the textbooks say about marketing, business development, business plans. I mean, hell, I talk to people who still believe that a 5-year plan is necessary. How crazy is that? The fifth year, dude, never shows up,
Right.
ever. Right? And
Yeah.
so I'm a 24-month, let's get it done planner, blah, blah, blah. So it's that sort of thing that annoys me. It really does. And it's not because it's a different idea than mine. It's because the impact that has on people can be cataclysmic. And that's not right.
So if you could witness one event in human history firsthand, what would you love to have seen happen?
I don't know. I did probably the many Norwegian attacks on foreign soil, where they climbed the mountains and against all odds conquered and vanquished their foe. That's what I would love to see. I would love to be sitting on somebody's horse, as a Viking's horse, with a dude, just watching him create his magic against formidable odds. That's what I would like to have done.
That's awesome. Well, speaking of history here, I got a little bit for you real quick. I went to Seattle in 95. I was into the grunge scene, wanted to go up to the Mecca. Friends were up there. I had no idea what I was going to do. That's kind of how I traveled, just to let it happen. So I'm looking through their weekly, and I was with friends, and they were like, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I'd love to see the Grateful Dead." That was like 4 months before Jerry passed. I could not believe what I was seeing. I'd never seen it. I was like, why the hell are there horses everywhere? What the hell's going on? Like, the whole thing was like a visceral experience. And then, of course, I'm with the guy that took us to get martinis before. He's popping whatever he's popping. He has confidence going through the roof. He drags me, and we're like, I could throw a coin off of Garcia's belly. We were right there. So I witnessed it firsthand, and it was crazy.
I'm
The whole
jealous.
thing.
I'm so jealous, so jealous, so jealous.
Man alive. It was quite a thing. So yeah, but that's a wonderful. He was talking the other day. There was a quote that he was saying about fame. He was always so right there. He really was. He was ahead of his time. I remember Monty Python was releasing their catalog, and they gave it all away for free on Amazon for a little while, like one of the episodes. And people were like, oh, that's going to be a disaster. They sold more than anybody did anywhere. When you stop treating people like they're criminals, like Disney treats everybody like we're going to steal from you on purpose, then you're going to get more esteem from us. We're going to have a better feeling,
Well, you hit on something, and one of my favorite things that was really successful in when I was leading this data company is I concluded that superlative performance is a function of execution. Execution is a function of cleanliness on the inside of an organization. So what do I mean by cleanliness? I mean grunge, bureaucracy, crap, and dumb rules that get in the way of taking care of customers. That's all the stuff that needs to be cleaned out. So I created this program called Kill Dumb Rules. Okay. And it was a really simple program. It says, look, what we're going to do is we're going to search out and destroy stupid rules and policies that don't make any sense to customers. And so I literally, embedded myself in the organization, and I enlisted everybody's help to do this. So I would show up in a workplace with a white long sleeve t-shirt with dumb rules on it and a big X through it. And they go, oh, here comes Roy again, dumb rules. Reality was, the other reason for it, you get rid of those rules, right? Engagement goes up, loyalty goes up, revenue goes up, performance goes up, and we get closer to $1 billion. So I didn't do this for any other reason than to say, hey, it's my way of capturing somebody's emotion and letting them have fun. But underneath, this is going to clean things and get us to better performance. So I did just a ton of stuff like that. That's what people remember.
Yep.
They don't remember the strategic growth strategy.
Yep.
What they remember is the crazy things that we did that lit their fires. They had fun. We had Kill Dumb Rules quarterly champions, and we would recognize them. We would have events, and my executive colleagues at the time said, "What are you doing? You can't call them dumb. You can't say Kill Dumb Rules." I said, "Okay, I'll call it Kill Stupid Ridiculous Policies." Will that make you feel any better?
That's wonderful. Roy, if anyone wants to learn more about you, hire you, anything pertaining to your world, where can they go?
Well, I have a website, bedifferentorbedead.com, and I've got pages there that I blog every week. So there's a ton of content. I've been doing this since 2009 when I wrote my first book, which was Be Different or Be Dead, Your Business Survival Guide. And so it's interesting because every time I blog my own material, I learn, just like I did today, different angles of coming at it. So there's a lot of rich content in my blog. There's a page on my 7 books. So if you want to just check out the books, and my latest, which is called The Audacious Unheard-of Ways I Took a Startup to $1 billion, which was released about 9 months ago. That's there. But I also have an email. It's roy.osing@gmail.com. And, I'd be happy to have a conversation like we're doing with somebody who says, hey, that sounds interesting, Roy. Can you help me? Of course I can help you.
Yeah.
Reach out. I'd love to do that. It's so important to me.
You're a great cat, Roy. Thank you so much for being raw and open about your life and about your ideas. I love it, man. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Take it easy.